All right, so I'm gonna talk about this whole Gina Carano situation. I'm gonna give my thoughts on this. So I'm gonna read through the article and I'm gonna discuss a little bit. Okay, Gina Carano will not be returning to The Mandalorian or the Star Wars galaxy after sharing posts on social media implying that being a Republican today is like being a Jewish during the Holocaust. Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future, a Lucasfilm spokesperson said in a statement. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their culture and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. So that's referring to her post before that they had kind of warned her about, because they gave her chance after chance after chance. Apparently they had been looking to fire this lady for a while now, because now I get that the article can be a little they get a little too, what do you call it, hyperbolic. Okay, they over exaggerate what happens sometimes. You gotta build up the when people make these statements or whatnot. Yeah, so I get that, but basically, she said something about some trans. I think she didn't want to put her pronouns in the profile. I don't know what it was. It was multiple instances where they were basically trying to, like, they were like, hey, don't do this, or hey, okay, we'll let that slide. Hey, this, okay. But finally, this was just the final straw. It is what it is. And her statement itself, talking about Republicans being like Jews back there in Nazi Germany, I cannot stand when people who have this like weird persecution complex. They go to the most extreme examples when trying to make some sort of argument or comparison. And everybody, the Nazi argument is so overworked and overused that its impact is kind of watered down at this point, which it shouldn't be, because it shouldn't be it shouldn't be used so much. That should only be used in a more literal sense, or even a closer to literal sense, literal comparison. It shouldn't be just used in everyday life. When people call everybody Nazis, it gets people confused on what a Nazi is. And that's the problem with labels. When people throw around labels like communist, socialist, they don't even know what it is. They just call anything under the sun communist and anything under the sun socialist. And it's just, you gotta find out what it is first before you just start throwing that label on everybody. And then when trying to say that you're being attacked, you go, yeah, we're like the Jews. We're like the Jews. We're being attacked. They're trying to kill us. And so I'm like, what? It's just, it's dumb. It's so dumb. I cannot stand when people do that. It's just annoying. And this is the broader aspect of the culture war. I don't like cancel culture. I don't like the culture war. I barely like talking about it, because it's so mind-numbing. It gets mind-numbing. People, their arguments always derange and devolve down, and I said derange, devolve down to like this weird, just back and forth, like just personally attacking each other. And some of the topics get they're confusing. Sometimes some people go to the most extreme, like you cannot criticize, you can't say anything about these people, you can't do this, or if you say this, you're canceled. It's too much. I can't take it. I hate the culture war. Yeah. This whole situation, she was given multiple chances by Disney, a private company, which a lot of people, they're like, well, they're a private company, they can do whatever they want. And unless it's a situation where it's something that we don't like, okay? We want to be able to say what we want, and you're taking us down. Now, some people, I get that there is censorship. There is a lot of censorship going on, especially on YouTube. It's like, I would say it's not a left-right bias or left-right censorship. It's more of either you have like just crazy belligerentness, okay, or people who are just insulting and being just harassing people. That, yeah, block that out. Then you have, when it comes to ideology, some conservatives have gone off this end, okay? They've kind of gone over here, and when they make arguments, sometimes people make arguments in a way that it comes off just, very coarse and harsh, okay? And it almost comes off like you're just insulting people. And even people who are really trying to make a genuine argument about, hey, I'll give an example. The trans women in sports, okay? That's a big one right now. Trans women in sports. You try to make an argument. Some people be like, hey, the bone structure, whatever argument you want to make. And then you have others who are like, man, get that man off the court and stuff like that. So they get lumped together. The guy who's just going out here harassing people gets lumped with the person trying to make an argument, and they both get kicked off, okay? And with Twitter, with the age we're in now, where everybody's trying to be more correct and aware of things, they want to be politically correct, so they will make that decision to say, hey, we don't even want you questioning it. Don't question it. You may feel a type of way about that, but if they feel like, hey, that's not what we represent, we want to be correct, we want to be inclusive, we want to include everybody, goodbye, okay? That's if that's how it is, that's how it is. That's kind of how it is out there. Then you have the other type, the more protecting of the establishment type of censorship. So that comes into especially with independent media. I've seen a lot of people get demonetized. For example, the Combo Couch, Nico House, a lot of them got demonetized recently. And it was like this wave of demonetization. And it happened because they talk about topics that could be potentially taken as misinformation, or topics that may be seen as, I don't know. It's hard to describe, because a lot in independent media talk about certain things. They kind of, like I said, they lump people together. So you have people who are just off on the deep end talking about, they're coming for your children. They eat children's hearts and all this stuff, and in their face, and they drink their blood and stuff. And you lump them with people who are just like, hey, that's kind of creepy. That's kind of weird. Or, hey, maybe we should talk about this happening. And because they're trying to get rid of the crazy stuff, they just lump anybody even questioning it. They lump them in with the crazies and kind of push them all over there. So that's what's kind of gone on. And that's taking place on all these platforms pretty much. And it can look like censorship. But there's a lot of people who are conservative who are still on these platforms. They're not gone. They're not taken down. Some may be demonetized, but others are still here. And some people, when they talk about their free speech rights or their right to say something, they just want the right to just harass people. Some people literally just want to harass people all day. They want to say the most out there, craziest things, just to harass people. Now, in my opinion, I think you should have the right to say what you want to say. But unless it's like harming somebody, or that gets into the debate about whether speech is violence or whatnot. I'm not going to talk about that. But this whole dynamic with some people that just want to harass people, other people, they just want to say some edgy stuff. Fine. I believe you should be able to say what you want to say. But that's just is what it is. That's how these companies are operating. And I've talked about YouTube censoring people before. Sometimes they censor people, like during the coronavirus thing, and people were like, hey, we could use vitamins for treatment or stuff. They say, hey, no, you can't say that. CDC says this, CDC says this, and then maybe 3 weeks later, CDC says, hey, take vitamins. Then you can say it. So in an effort to curb misinformation, anybody who goes against whatever they refer to as whatever authority they're referring to as the source, then they're gonna put you down for a second. They're gonna hush you up, demonetize you, whatever. Say, hey, don't say that. You can't discuss that. And you did have people who were just saying some like off the wall stuff, like, hey, if you just go eat grass, that'll bring out your molecules and stuff like that. Those people, yeah, they're off the deep end, okay? But because it was such a crazy situation, or is a crazy situation, people's mental health hasn't been that great. It's a lot of stuff going on, but I just think this whole situation with Gina Carano, I mean, they gave her chance after chance after chance. I know I kind of went on a tangent, but they gave her plenty of chances to stop saying stuff, or say, hey, that's not what we represent as a company. Please stop saying that. And she just had to say something. Now, a lot of people are like, hey, it's not that bad. What she said is not that bad. I go on Facebook. Oh my goodness, Facebook it's another world. But like it wasn't even, I'm not gonna say it wasn't that bad, but I've seen that argument made multiple times before. If this was her first time saying something like this, she probably wouldn't have got fired. But because she said like multiple things before that they told her to stop saying or not to say, this was just the final straw. That's how it is. But hey, companies will do what companies will do. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, like, whenever we do it, however we do it, wherever we do it, just do it. It's your boy Red X Black, and I am out. Peace.